Hi, everybody. This is Darian Wigfall, Director of Operations for FarFetched, here with Matthias James. Say what's up.
Doses.
So I'm doing these artist talks with people during this COVID-19 stay-at-home shelter-in-place period, just kind of talking to artists about what they're doing and how they reacted just in general, and yeah, going through a few other things. So
Happy to be here,
um,
man. Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, so let's just start off with what was your reaction? I know you kind of have a different story with this because you moved like right before everything happened.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that experience?
So yeah, I mean, I moved here. I'm in Los Angeles. I moved here directly before the proverbial shit hit the fan.
Hmm.
It was just a couple of weeks before quarantine went
Wow.
into place. When we were out here looking for apartments, there were whispers of, oh, this virus, it might be here, but maybe one or two people in the whole state of California had tested positive at that point.
Wow.
The cookie crumbled extremely quickly, though. Got out here at the end of February, and as we all know, right at the top of March, things really got bad.
Hmm.
And I had started a new job. Here we are in a new city. Didn't even have like really furniture yet. Everything was pretty chaotic.
Hmm.
And then 3 weeks into my new job, I was furloughed because of government orders to shelter in place.
Yeah.
And you can't go out and sell kombucha effectively when you're at home. So that was concerning. Moving's expensive,
Mm.
so I
Yeah.
was broke, and just really kind of afraid of how I was going to survive. Um, my
Yeah.
girlfriend lives here with me, so it's we've been able to keep our heads above water, and I eventually did get onto some unemployment in that. But I
Good.
would say my first reaction was abject horror. I think would
Yes.
be the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So I know, but for the people out there watching, what part of Los Angeles are you living in?
I'm in Hollywood, right on the border of West Hollywood.
Sweet.
Runyon Canyon is directly behind our apartment.
Okay.
We're walking distance from, the Chinese Theater, all that, like just
Wow.
Hollywood Central.
Has there been, I know you've lived there before, but has there been a culture shock moving from the south side of St. Louis to LA, or how's the transition been?
I wouldn't say a culture shock. For me personally, I am one who travels a lot.
Hmm.
So I am used to immersing myself in unfamiliar places and not feeling uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Um, and like you said, I did live here before. It was many years ago. So this is a place I'm familiar with.
Hmm.
So I didn't, it wasn't like coming here, living here for the first time. I mean, I guess that's a unique experience in that,
Yeah,
there was already a certain comfort level with this city that I had.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you are a far-fetched artist. You've been doing Matthias and the Pirates for quite a while, but kind of tell folks about some of your musical history, some of the things that you're working on now that are kind of coming back around and things like that.
So yeah, musical history is long. I've been doing this since the 90s
Yeah.
in one shape or form, starting off with mostly what could be described as like rock fusion bands, and then eventually realizing my strength was in rhythm and putting words into rhythms, and that kind of showed me I was supposed to be a rapper.
Mm.
And so I've been actively I've been emceeing now for 23, 24 years,
Wow.
in various projects and various groups. The most well-known of those would be Earthworms.
Hmm.
And Earthworms was forced to be reckoned with a decade ago. We started, God, 2004 initially.
Wow.
And then a decade ago, we broke up. And so a year ago, we actually got back together. Three of the four of us, really. With the fourth, it's funny because the fourth person who isn't actively involved with the new reincarnation actually lives out here in LA.
Oh, really? Wow.
And we've talked, we've hung out since I've been here, before the lockdown, of course, and all that. So I mean, we'll collaborate again, most certainly. But the current incarnation of Earthworms is myself, Black Patrick, and DJ Moth. We have a bunch of new music recorded. We've played a couple of shows, 3 or 4 at this point now. And, we're moving forward with it. We're really happy with the creative process right now and the sounds that we're coming out with. As you know, we put out the first new Earthworms song in 10 years on the Prologue 9 compilation that just came out in January. Great. So yeah, we're real stoked about it. Mathias and the Pirates is, we're not, I wouldn't say we're inactive, but we haven't exactly been active since about the middle of last year. We did speak recently though, and we're going to try and get some new music together as well. Certainly want to come back home and play a show at some point this year with the Pirates, and keep that flame lit as well. There's no reason not to, honestly. So
yes, indeed. So what are some of the things, I know it's a little different for you, so I'm going to rephrase it. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to? Was there any particular spots in LA that you were looking forward to going to after going back that aren't open right now?
Yeah, I mean, kind of the whole city. So I have a lot of friends out here, a lot of friends from the Midwest and otherwise, people I've known for many years, people who would, if I were to ever be married, be in my wedding. Like some of my lifelong homies, my ride or dies, live out here. And, I was able to see a few of them once or twice right after moving out here. And then of course lockdown went on. And so, the things I was most looking forward to were backyard barbecues and hanging out at their houses. A couple of my friends have kids, and, like hanging out with them and their children and getting to know, their kids a little better. And, one of my friends is a really accomplished and amazing chef, and it never sucks to go over to his house because you're always going to eat something real good. And, just stuff like that, man. And also, man, I live in Hollywood. I'm walking distance from like an entire world of restaurants and bars and amazing places to go and eat and drink and vibe, and, concerts, shows. I'm walking distance from the Hollywood Bowl. Like there are things I could do without getting in a car. And none of that is open obviously right now. And I haven't been able to do literally any of it since getting here. It's really just been being here and taking a lot of walks throughout my neighborhood. We'll get in the car and go to other neighborhoods to take walks, that sort of thing. We're going out to the desert on Sunday for a few days to just get away from humanity in general. And that'll be real nice. We're going to stay in an Airstream trailer, literally right by Joshua Tree, and just awesome. Breathe in some fresh air and not be around anybody. It's gonna be great. But yeah, those are the things that I look forward to, is just really taking advantage of all the bounty that Los Angeles has to offer. Beaches, the hiking trails. I can't even go to Runyon Canyon to go hiking right now because it's closed. So and it should be closed. It honestly should be. Like this, the government here is a lot more progressive and left-sided than the government in Missouri, for example. And so the governor is taking every precaution to not let this virus run as wild as it already is. He's really trying to take a scientific approach to the reopening of the state, slow and deliberate, and keeping the health of the people who live here top of mind over the economy. And that's not something any of these Republican governors are doing, and certainly not the federal government. It's a shit show out there. It's a total clown show, and really is. I feel fortunate to live in a place that is taking a different approach.
Man, Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, Missouri is just so trash. I don't want to get into a pity party about it, but like, we really need to make some changes in this midterm
Well, you know what? I
electorate.
mean, people just got to get out and vote. Like the only reason
Yeah,
Parsons is sitting there is because like Greitens got elected. And the only reason Greitens got elected is because people didn't fucking vote. People didn't go to the
yeah,
polls. Like, you know, a lot of people want to say, don't blame the people who didn't vote. We're not inspired by the candidates. Well, no, it is your fault. Like you didn't
yeah.
go and vote. Like you literally have to play the game. This is the game that we have. Play it.
Hmm.
You have to play it. Like you have to get the person who identifies most. You're never going to find the perfect candidate. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's never going to be a perfect candidate. Never.
Yeah.
You just have to
Primary.
pick the one that more closely aligns with your values.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people that have values that kind of lean to the left, just like, you know, say fuck it and
Yeah.
don't go to the polls when like Mr. Perfect or Mrs. Perfect isn't the candidate. You know, the person
Yeah.
that they wanted doesn't get the nod, which, you know, you
Yeah.
can be upset about that. Like
It's
obviously
fine.
there's corruption and corruption often wins these things, but you know, you still have to think of the greater good, you know.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
that's so, you know, Missouri has a Republican governor right now from the middle of nowhere who has no idea how to govern a state that has two big cities in it, because people didn't actually show up to the polls and vote for the other guy, you know.
Yeah. Prime example, and I know a lot of people out there probably pretty political minded that are watching this. I learned this when I voted for Nader when it was Bush and Gore.
Same. I voted for
Yeah,
Nader then too, man.
nice,
That's the
nice.
last time I voted third
That's the
party,
last
bro.
time I voted for third party.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we have two choices, and if you don't pick one guy, the other guy's gonna win.
It's absolutely
Hopefully, we'll
true.
get some women in there too eventually. But yeah, right now it's guys.
It's well
So
long overdue.
yeah, yeah. Oh man,
You know, frankly, we'd all be in a better place,
for real.
you know, Hillary notwithstanding, but you know, that's
Yeah,
fine. I still
yeah,
voted for her. So
yeah. I did too. But yeah. Speaking of good, strong women, I'm glad that you have a partner out there, and you were sort of speaking to some of the things that you do to keep your spirit alive, like walks and things like that. Is there anything else right now that you've been doing that's kind of giving you hope and
yeah, so it's easy to
keeping you on
let
track?
your thoughts get away from you if you spend too much time on social media,
Mm-hmm.
reading articles. I mean, nothing in the news is good right now. And
Yeah.
like, it's important to be informed and to know what you're looking at and to know what you're dealing with. But at the same time, like, you got to know when to say when, as
Yeah.
well. And just really shrink everything down is what
Mm.
I've found helps me personally a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with every day, literally hour by hour, like letting moments happen. You
Mm.
know, just
Mm-hmm.
controlling what you can control. And you know, we do yoga every single day,
That's awesome.
for a month and a half now. I think we're on 45 days tomorrow,
Okay.
and we've only
Wow.
missed 2 days within that span.
That's impressive.
You know, so we're doing that. We're really trying to, you know, stay fit, and because there's a lot of sitting around on the couch and watching Netflix going on too. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Same.
you try to balance that out. Try not to feel pressured to be super productive. You know,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
at the same time, don't let you know, a lethargic feeling overtake you and get the better of you either. You know, that's something that, you know, I'm really mindful of too.
Yeah.
Again, you know, take walks, like figuring out daily, you know, things we can do to break up the doldrums, and just little things, you know, like sweeping the damn floor, whatever, like
Yeah.
anything to,
Cleaning the
like,
house.
you
Yeah.
know,
Washing
just
dishes.
something to put your mind on. Writing,
Mm-hmm.
I've been writing a blog.
Mm-hmm.
I've done that. I'm making beats,
Okay.
with my very
Making beats.
limited. I've been making a lot of
That's what's
beats.
up.
I actually emailed you one of them.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but no, it's you know, I'm not Damon Davis here yet, but like I'm
Right.
definitely, you know, I've always had a good ear, and now I'm learning how to translate that into, you know, actual audible examples of what goes on in my mind. And
Totally.
you know, and I'm really getting into it. I've almost every day I'm tinkering. I
Okay.
downloaded the Koala app, which is
Okay.
actually really good and intuitive as far as apps are concerned. You know, I don't have a Mac, I don't have
Okay.
software, I don't have like an MPC, things that I do intend to get, especially now that I caught the bug.
Yeah.
So
You'll never get
that's
rid of it.
maybe a maybe a bad analogy to caught the bug there, but
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Wear a mask, people.
yeah, please. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. Writing and making beats,
So,
and just trying to elevate in some fashion.
yeah. I've always seen rappers, especially as like creating a beat with your words, because there's always some kind of cadence, right? So
Absolutely,
it's sort of like, and the intonation being sort of your hi-hat, your snare, and the kick drum.
for sure.
So it just makes a lot of sense that you're making beats. I'm happy to hear that, and I will definitely look for that beat in there.
I sent you a disco jam.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I made a disco song. I called it West Hollywood at Night.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you're out there. You got to get the vibe, catch the vibe for sure. That's awesome.
I started trying to make a trap beat last night.
Oh yeah.
It sucks so bad, but like I'm gonna go
Gotta
back to
start
the
somewhere.
drawing board on it, and I wanna just do it so I know I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll come.
Mhm.
And yeah, and you'll be like, this is easy. This is why I've always been making fun of these guys for years.
You know, honestly, it's funny because I did start making fun of trap music, and now I'm like, okay, no, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Like I like the rhythm patterns. I like what people do vocally with rhythm patterns. I mean, it's can be
Yeah.
kind of limited, and everybody's doing a lot of the same things, and
Right.
you know that sucks. You know, like there's not a lot of creativity within that space, but those who do, you know, those who are creative within that space are doing really, really cool shit. You know, like Kendrick Lamar is a great example. You know, he spits game over a lot of like trap instrumentals, and that's not all he does, but like when he does like you know, like be humble, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Humble, like that song. I mean, that beats as trap as it gets, man. And what he's spitting over it is just incredibly dope. You know, so
Right.
it's completely possible to take that, you know, to take that lane, you know, that art form and like elevate it a little bit. And, you know, that's kind of my intention anyway, for my personal uses.
For sure.
You know,
That's dope. That's super dope.
yeah. But
So
first I got to
do
learn how to make a trap beat. Cause right now it sounded, you know, I know what's in my head and what came out is not that.
Right.
So,
I mean, the way I started out making beats was copying other people. So
just kind of copying rhythm patterns and
Yeah.
whatnot. I haven't done a lot of that as of late, but that's something that's been on my mind because I also want to get into like making kind of synthy, like synth pop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really have been enjoying a lot of synth pop lately, which is a byproduct of being in a relationship with the person I am. She loves that stuff, and so therefore I'm exposed to a lot of music I wasn't really otherwise exposed to, and I listen to it differently now, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to make instrumentals that sound like this. You know, this is really cool. So
Who are some of the artists that are inspiring you? I know you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, but is there anybody else that you've listened to lately that has been like, oh yeah, I really like this?
well, on the synthy kind of bus, John Mouse is really cool. LCD Sound System, you know, is somebody like I didn't discover them until they had already broken up. Like they had a whole career, and I just peripherally aware. And then one day,
you just know they're there, but
And then one day, a few years ago, I was like, oh wait, what's this? You know what I mean? Like I ended up like really enjoying it. So so I feel like, you know, it's all new to me when everybody else thinks it's completely played out, you know. But yeah, that kind of stuff, man. You know, I'm always inspired by, you know, deep funk, you know, just really melodic and textured things. You know, unpredictable sounds and
yes,
and
definitely.
you know, just things that explore moods. You know, like I like to explore a mood.
Yeah.
You know,
songs that create a mood or like explore a mood or like for sure.
Like I look at music a lot. Like I look at like television or film. You know, like it's the capturing of a moment, the capturing of a mood, of a vibe, of an energy, and And it's the creative process. You can liken it to many different art forms, visual art, painting, like everything. You're just trying to embody a vibe, a mood, a moment in time. You're just trying to capture it. And music obviously is very much that way.
Universal.
Yeah, so like I draw inspiration from so many different weird things, like anything from Lana Del Rey, which is also a new thing that I've discovered through my girlfriend. And all the way up to like De La Soul, or whatever, like any like new rap music. I'm trying to listen to things that the kids are on a little more these days. I really like what Smino's doing. I think that
shout out to Smino.
And I think there's a lot of like really creative and inventive things locally there in St. Louis. The Knuckles are just reinventing what can be accomplished within the realm of hip hop, like as far as I'm concerned, like nobody sounds like them. They don't sound like anybody. And the sound that they're making is pretty revolutionary and really, really dope. Shout out to the Knuckles.
Knuckles.
But you don't have to be revolutionary and completely different to make really good music either, man. I mean, I'm really critical of people who just like copy a sound and run with it. But like you can take an idea, a sound, a vibe that you like and do your own thing with it though.
Right. Yeah, because ultimately there's no sound we can make that's never been made before, but it's how do you spin it?
Right.
And make it yours. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is back to Smino, like what he's doing is completely unique and it's really commercially viable, but it's also like super creative and weird and underground at the same time.
Different.
Man, it's real cool. It's real cool. And he took a vibe and he ran with it,
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard. It's like lightning in a bottle or needle in a haystack or whatever the overused term is, that shit, cliche.
Exactly. Yeah. So my last question for you is, do you think anything positive can come out of the stay-at-home COVID-19 stuff going on right now?
Absolutely. I mean, this is all just so very bad. It's just real bad. And I really try not to, put a bunch of sunshine on a pile of poop, but like at the same time, there is positivity that can come out of this. And I think those things are probably, how humans interact with each other and how we appreciate one another and the respect we show each other, and maybe recognizing our own fragility, when we interact with other people, and just kind of knowing that we've all gone through this extraordinarily traumatic thing. And those of us who make it out of it, are going to have more depth, more gravitas, more like understanding of the world around us, and maybe not be so like, sure that our shit doesn't stink or that we can just operate however we want to without consequences. And, and obviously it's sadly deepening the divide as well. Like we've seen how one side reacts versus the other side, and the two sides. I mean, it's pretty along political lines. You know what I mean? Like you can see like how the right's reacting versus how the left's reacting, and it's just another chapter in the story of our road to revolution. And it's
hopefully
and revolution is hard. We all have to have the inner fortitude to not let the darkness overtake us. Like every day it's a practice. And I think that positivity can come if we take the opportunity to embrace the change that we're being forced into, and to reinvent how we operate and recalibrate our expectations, and really just like refuse to let complacency settle back in once things return to whatever normal is going to be.
Right.
And to not expect the world that we left in February is never coming back. Like you can't expect that world to come back. Things from here on out are going to be different. That world doesn't exist in that way anymore.
Right.
So
even right now,
you can't like cling to it. Like you have to like really embrace the opportunity to like change and move forward. We're all right now at square one, and we all have the opportunity to make this world what we want to make it.
Wow, that's a great outlook, man. We're dropping the mic on that. Let the people know where they can find your music or get in touch with you, however you want them to do that, social media and things.
Well, I would like to speak on my blog. I'm writing a blog. I've been really getting into it. It's MathiasJames.com. That's Mathias with a 1T. And so there's a bunch of entries in there. Please check that out for sure. I put links to a lot of music and things and pictures and whatnot. And, I kind of rip my heart out, on paper, as it were, for that blog. And I'm also telling a lot of stories and things like that.
Yeah.
Music wise, our stuff is all over Bandcamp, Mathias and the Pirates, Earthworms, my solo material, Bandcamp, Spotify, anywhere you can stream or download music, it is there. YouTube, all the things. Including the new stuff on farfetched.bandcamp.com. You can go to Prologue 9 and hear the brand new Earthworms song called Falling Down with featuring Capo and Nani and Liam Christie on guitar.
Nice.
And it's produced by Buzzkill of Kill 'Em All.
Sweet. Shout out to Kill 'Em All.
That's right. But music's out there, man, and we'll keep pumping it out. I eventually now am suddenly going to turn into a producer. I would not call myself that yet, but eventually I would like to put out a production album as well.
Okay, tight. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, definitely check out the blog. It's been really good. I got to catch up on some of that stuff. I started reading it a while back. It's really good. The music's always good. I'm biased, of course. I love everything done from Earthworms to Mathias and the Pirates. So definitely check that out for sure. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. And likewise, thank you for doing this, dude. Like, honestly, it's a great thing. People are paying attention. The interviews are well orchestrated. Great conversations are happening.
Thanks, man.
It's a good way to spend about a half an hour of your day at home.
Right. Yeah. Getting to know artists that are from St. Louis, maybe have moved away or still live here. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. So yeah, I got to thank you for coming on and joining us today.
Well, thank you. And to everybody out there in St. Louis, I miss you so much. I miss all the people. That is always my home. My family is there. My dog is there. Like everyone, that I love, minus the person I live with here in Los Angeles, is there in St. Louis. And, I always fly the flag and carry the torch. So, and I'll be back as soon as we can travel again. So
word up. Good to hear. So yeah, anybody out there watching, if you want to get in touch with FarFetched, you can find us at wearefarfetched.net or at wearefarfetched on pretty much all the social medias. Once again, thanks to Mathias James for joining us, and to all of y'all out there watching. Peace.
Thanks for having me.